Samira and her husband just moved back to her childhood neighborhood, and she immediately notices that creepy old house across the street.
You sure that house is empty?
Yeah, very.
But when Samira looked over, she clearly saw a light on in the second floor window, as if someone were standing behind it, watching her. From that day on, Samira became particularly curious about that house. Every day on her way home, she would glance at it a few extra times. Her husband told her the house had been abandoned for 20 years, never put up for sale and never inhabited. That evening, when Samira returned home, she noticed a figure standing in the second floor window across the street. It was looking right at her. Samira was used to staying curious and vigilant about her surroundings, and this unusual occurrence made it impossible for her to ignore. That day, she was invited to visit her neighbor Carol, and met a few neighbors along the way. As the conversation grew more relaxed, she casually brought up that eerie old house. To her surprise, everyone's expressions immediately turned somber. Marge believed the house was haunted, because, even though no one lived there, the lights would turn on and off by themselves. Carol, who had lived there for many years, recalled the past. 20 years ago, the Grant family lived in that house, and their daughter died mysteriously at home. There were always conflicting accounts of what happened that night, and even some mysterious and eerie rumors circulated. Afterward, the Grants moved away in a hurry, but they never sold the house. For a full 20 years, no one had set foot in that house. Marge, who was quite brave, became intrigued, and wanted to see what exactly was hidden inside that haunted house. Just as everyone was discussing the old house, a car suddenly sped into the neighborhood. The tires screeched against the pavement as it came to a stop right in front of the old mansion. A real estate agent then got out of the car and planted a for sale sign on the lawn. For a moment, everyone was in disbelief. The house hadn't been on the market for 20 years. Yet now that they'd brought it up, the owner suddenly wanted to sell. After returning home, Samira felt something was off, and immediately went online to research the neighborhood's history. The area was originally developed by the Sinclair family in 1902, but when she searched for news about that house from 2005, the webpage was blank. It was as if that period of history had been deliberately erased. Early the next morning, Marge knocked on Samira's door, pointing to the old house across the street. She noted that the sign on the lawn had been changed to open house. They were actually allowing people inside for viewings. They went over together but found the door jammed shut. Marge simply kicked the door open. The interior was surprisingly intact, as if time had stopped 20 years ago. She then went upstairs and discovered a bedroom that clearly belonged to a child. The air was thick with a musty odor. She opened the wardrobe and found a girl's name, Allison, written in red pen.
That's creepy.
That night, when Samira returned home, she happened to glance across the street and noticed that the old house had already been sold. She was very curious that someone would buy such a spooky house. She immediately went to Carol's house to ask around, and learned that the buyer was a male doctor, who had paid the full amount in cash in a single transaction. At 2 a.m., Samira still couldn't sleep. She lay in bed scrolling through TikTok to kill time. Suddenly, the sound of a car engine came from outside the window. She hurriedly woke her husband to go check across the street. The new owner was moving furniture into the house. There was something inexplicably eerie about the scene. The following night, Samira and her husband were chatting on the balcony. She happened to glance at the second floor window across the street, and saw a man standing there silently, staring at them without moving.